Now the big question I have for you is Robert Whitaker, the prime version, a meta pick. I think so. 99 punch speed with his perks, 97 kick speed with the crazy legs, the durability, the get-ups. This was from where he faced Yoel Romero for the second time. Let's get right into the fights. We're going to be facing a Dricus Duplessis. His weapons is pretty much everything. He's going to have more power than us. He can kick with us a little bit. And he definitely has way better wrestling submission threat than Robert Whitaker does. But we have great 97 takedown defense, 5-star wrestling get-ups. So I'm pretty sure, he can handle just about anything. That's why he's a fun pick to use. Of course, it's going to be harder when you're facing a really good Izzy, Pereira. But, man, if you got the skills, you could definitely make him a disgusting pick. I usually pick him when people don't go Pereira. Pereira's the real hard one because of all the power, and he's like the same size as Izzy. He definitely is fun to switch it up, though, I'm used to going Izzy or Pereira a lot of the times because I'm mainly a striker for the most part. But if I want to grapple, I'll go somebody like Dricus Duplessis. But yeah, I saw like highlights of, the fight, and yeah, they went to war. I think he messed up his knees or tore his knee in that fight, still got the job done with a win, and he beat Yoel Romero twice. So I was crazy because at the time he seemed like unbeatable and everybody was scared to face him. And Robert Whitaker definitely showed levels, man. But for most part, we're just focusing on, using our speed and just getting in and out. Kind of like Whitaker does in real life. We're going to be using our kicks and we're just going to be in and out. That's my style anyways, so using somebody like Whittaker would suit me pretty well. I believe he has skirmisher, so that's giving me extra footwork moving backwards, so I'm able to get in and out the pocket a little bit quicker than most of the fighters in this division. That's definitely a great tool. We're just working pretty much everything, the body, the legs a little bit when we can. And when we land our quick combos, we try just to get out the pocket, because if you stay there for too long, you give your opponent a chance to get a rhythm and land their own combinations. We don't want to do that. We don't want our opponent comfortable or landing combos back for the most part. So when we land, we're going to be out the pocket and just out of range. If anything, I might throw a kick in there. Maybe I don't throw anything. Just switching up the rhythm. See, we get caught throwing the kick right there in the pocket. Fair enough, that is a punishment. I threw it with no punches, and it didn't really, hit stun him, so. Yeah, but look, it's pretty much in and out. We're just controlling the entire fight for the most part. We're controlling, when we engage, the distance. He also has no space to really move back. So if you guys do this is a very bad habit. Just try not to get behind the black line too much. I face people that move forward and won't stop, but for the most part, I try to circle. Like this guy, you'll see every time I plant my feet, he'll stay there with me sometimes for too long. And look at that. See, he's gonna end up getting hurt again. And when you get backed up all the way to the fence, you do lose power. I'm not sure how much exactly, but you definitely do lose power. One of the game changers of this game confirmed that. So if you get backed up too far to the fence, you actually lose punching power. So that's going to make it even harder. Yeah, but look that we got countered. But that's fine. I'm not rushing right back in the pocket. I'm just trying to make it seem like that didn't bother me. Because then if I move back too much, I'm not throwing anything. It'll give this player too much confidence to start pressing me. So we don't want to give him confidence. Plus, I know he is losing that head-off battle significantly. And look at that. Right there, we get the finish. Brutal. Brutal damage. Look at this. Not even the boss, Dana White, can stop us, y'all. He is not going to stop us. We're going to have to knock out our own boss. Hopefully, we still have a job after this fight. But Dana White decided to cut down to 185 to challenge Prime Whittaker. I don't see people pick Dana White too much, but it is kind of funny when people pick Dana White. But I'm just using my counters, using my footwork to be in and out, try to be as elusive as possible. And it's a little bit of his ghost pressure too, where like I'm moving forward, but I'm not really throwing big combos, and I'm just making him react by throwing, like making him throw combos and getting counters off of that. That's why I tell you, when people are pressuring you, don't feel the need to throw something all the time. Just like that. We have Sean Strickland right here. Still want to take our time. You know, his advantages is the cardio, and he definitely has the reach. You know, as far as in the legs and the arms. So he beats us in reach pretty much everywhere. Actually, maybe not the leg reach, but definitely hand reach, I feel. So he's going to be able to hit us where we can't hit him with our hands. So we got to make sure we're in close enough. And one of his bigger weapons is going to be his jab and his cross. So we don't want to be too far at range for him to use his weapons effectively. So when we are in the pocket, we're going to make sure it's close enough where he can't use those good weapons. Now, we also have a really great jab and a great cross. So look at that nice slip uppercut. You know, I just read his pattern. And, you know, I had a feeling he was going to go with that. So we slip it, counter him with a nice uppercut. But as you guys can see, I don't force head movement either. You don't really need to. You know, I see a lot of guys that are newer to the game, and they constantly, like, slip for like, no reason. Like, they don't even know if something straight is coming out. Like, they don't know if a jab cross is coming out and they're slipping or pulling or whatever. That's definitely something you don't want to do. Like, my slips and pulls are usually off of instinct, reads, and just reading the animation mostly. Sometimes I'm reacting to these animations, and sometimes, you know, I'm just predicting a pattern. Like somebody throwing the same combination, that's different. But it's a combination of that. You know, sometimes if someone's throwing a lot and I don't know, maybe I might, you know, just keep my head off the center line if they're throwing a lot of jabs or straights. It just depends on the person I'm facing. But yeah, we chopped up the leg pretty well. It's hard to want to use low kicks. You know, I was using them a lot, even on the stream last night. And it just doesn't slow people down. It almost kills the point of me wanting to use them. Because, like, when I'm working the leg, then I'm not working the body. So their stamina remains higher, and they live through the fight a lot longer. So we might not be using them as often as I used to. In UFC 6, though, I ain't gonna lie, if they make like leg kicks slow you down like a lot, where you can't pressure me as much, yeah, I'm definitely gonna start using them again. Especially calf kicks. I love calf kicks, bro. But yeah, Sean Strickland's not really engaging because he kind of doesn't know what to do, because he threw like most of the combos he's comfortable with throwing. And look at that. He's getting countered for it. And he's getting damaged significantly. I think he has like multiple cuts. He's been dropped a few times. Definitely rocked more than once. And his leg is chopped up. He's in a stance he's not comfortable in. So it's like the whole fight is spiraling for him. But still, we're going to, you know, take our time and do the work. You know, still like treat it like the first round. You know, counter when I can. Not really trying to force it. You know, especially with this game, the damage system is very, like, unrealistic. So you don't want to throw out your whole gas tank trying to chase a finish off of one rock or one knockdown, because that'll end up bad for you. Yeah, I don't know why he taunted for. I was kind of dumb with him. We ended up hitting him with a nice 1-2. Got him against the fence. So that's where we go crazy with the combos. Try to get him out here with ground and pound, and we do. We got another Dricus Duplessis. Like I told you, this guy is a tank. So it is, you have to be really careful. Like, he's 97 power. He has like 98 body health. Really high cardio. High kickboxing combos. Good boxing combos. And a lot of unique moves. Well, not unique, but just a lot of different things that he can mix you up with. As far as in kicks, like the question mark kicks, body kicks, spinning kicks. Like, he has a lot of weapons. On top of that, I have to also worry about takedowns, his submission threat, and it's just crazy, you know. He is a tank. I don't see Dricus du Plessis getting picked as often. I'm not sure why. Maybe because people aren't that good with grappling, maybe, or they feel like he's only a grappler. But you could definitely use him against pretty much anybody, even without like using the grappling. It's that durability factor and the cardio that really sets him apart from a lot of these other strikers. Look at that nasty head kick counter right there off of his whiff kick. I already taught you guys that on the YouTube Shorts, TikTok. I think I even did a video covering it, like fully. So look at that. See, just mixing up the combos. This is what I mean by level changing. I landed a 1-2, then I go with a body hook downstairs. I practice these combos in practice mode, and eventually they just felt, normal. They kind of come out instinctively, like muscle memory. That's the best way I could say how I developed my combos. The more I threw them, the more, they flow. Like a flow state. Like, you ever seen a fighter in a flow state before? Like, that's how I would feel throwing my combos. Like, I've thrown them so much, so many times, like in practice mode and going against friends in sparring practice, that just comes out naturally. I definitely think you guys should practice your combos before you start fighting. Like, before you start like your online matches, just go to practice mode and have the AI bot stand there so you can practice your range. Don't have him move or anything, and just practice your combinations in both stances. I really urge you to do both, because you could take advantage of fighters that have high switch stance or even southpaws. Some people can't fight southpaw, and they don't get to enjoy the full experience of like a Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, and really good southpaw. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was really fun using Robert Whitaker. This is definitely one of my go-to picks at middleweight. Stay tuned for more content.